Hello and welcome. I am doing something very brave today, and I am sporting not a no makeup look, but just no makeup. We've got moisturizer, and that's what we're working with. It's okay, someone's gotta be chopped and fat on the internet, like we can't all be camera ready all the time. My most natural form is something akin to femme meatloaf in Rocky Horror Picture Show, you know what I'm saying? This is so far removed from this crazy character that this might as well be drag. So what can you do? I've made peace with this. In any case, I've got more important matters to attend to today, like introducing and reintroducing myself to 2,000 followers, which is just, I can't even process that number. Like, I know that's not a lot for YouTube, but it is still more than I ever expected to amass and accumulate. I really feel lucky to have people in my immediate orbit that care what I have to say and want to hear more from me. That's genuinely really cool. I got about a busload of people recently to send me over the edge to 2K, and I just wanted to introduce myself to these new folks and also reintroduce myself to people who have been around for a little while but maybe need a recap, because I do have my finger in a lot of different pies, so to speak. My greatest strength, which is also my greatest weakness, is that I don't pick a lane. I'm very much swerving around in all directions. This channel can mostly be summed up by saying it's about my taste in things like art and fashion and movies and TV and perfume and books and all of that stuff. Just anything that I like is usually what ends up on this particular little ecosystem I've established over here. But mainly I am a fashion channel first and foremost. That is usually what I'm yapping about on here, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I'm really genuinely passionate about fashion, which is, funny coming from me today with my not very fashion forward outfit. We're going for comfort. If you've been around here for long enough, you know that this is my uniform for when I'm not feeling good enough to get into full drag, but I also want to still talk to you guys. Under the subheading of fashion, the fashion content I do on here, I am really passionate about aesthetic combinations, and that sounds weird until I explain what I'm talking about. It's like, I really love to take different aspects of different aesthetics, if you will, under fashion and mush them together. I do 60s scene girl, done flapper goth. I've been mixing a lot of 60s glam and gyaro looks lately. But mainly what I really want to blow up for is for my aesthetic laboratory, where I'm a mad scientist and I whip up all of these different Franken aesthetics for my own amusement. The core four, the ones that I have the most outfits under my belt, are Bimbazar, Coquetamine, Tweirdcore, and Love is Weirdcore. Now, Bimbazar is Bimbocore and Weirdcore, Coquetamine is Coquette and Weirdcore, Tweirdcore is Twee and Weirdcore, and Love is Weirdcore is Lovecore and Weirdcore. Why am I mixing these little silly aesthetics with Weirdcore? I don't know. I really just started this as an experiment to see if there was a way for me to get my grimy little disgusting hands all over very beautiful and demure and ostensibly hyper feminine aesthetics, to see if I can just bring a weird little twist to the aesthetic conversation. I don't know how else to really explain it. I haven't seen really other people doing stuff like this, so I feel crazy a lot of the time when I engage in this obsession of mine, where I just like to fuck things up. I really just kind of like disrupting the visual language that we're all so familiar with just the cutesy aesthetics we know and love on Pinterest. Bimbazar is probably the aesthetic of mine with the most storied history. I've done the most looks of this particular aesthetic. This is trying to take the essence of the Y2K bimbo, but making her really fucked up and esoteric and a little bit unsettling. Needless to say, all of this is John Waters' fault. But are you picking up what I'm putting down? Like, is any of this making sense? Like, I really want to explain this to the best of my ability because the TikTok algorithm thinks I'm crazy. And actually, that's something I would love to just like bring up really quick, is that a lot of people I've talked to who are on both YouTube and TikTok say that they feel more pressure to present professionally or like more polished on YouTube versus on TikTok, and I actually feel the exact opposite. For some reason, this feels really intimate and like a group sleepover, and on TikTok I feel like I'm just doing like a really weird drag show in a lot of ways, and it's just, I don't know how to like unpack that or what to make of that, but that is just something to keep in mind, is that my YouTube entity and my TikTok entity are very different. This is like the two TikTok accounts you can find me at. I toggle between them for some reason. I don't know, I guess I just wanted to back up just in case I get in trouble or something. But yeah, it's just really hard for me to, make headway on TikTok the way I have here. I have like 6,000-ish followers on TikTok, but like it's one of those things where like I don't get shown to the people who follow me, so it's like I'm just coming up on random people who don't care about anything I have to offer. You know what I mean? Like I haven't cracked the code for like getting in front of the right people yet on TikTok, and I feel like I pretty much instantly cracked that code on YouTube just by accident. So like, yay, but also I just don't understand how these things work. I'm not a technologically inclined person. That's another thing I have to address, is like the editing, the production value of these videos is never gonna get better. Like I'm always gonna be in this dumb chair on my phone. You know, it's never gonna be fancy. I edit stuff on CapCut because I'm not neurodivergent in the way that most technology is intuitive to me. I don't have that for some reason, so I really struggle with a lot of these like apps. I mean, like, it's just so embarrassing to say that, but like that's just the truth of it. It's just that I don't know what I'm doing. But I do know what I'm doing when it comes to fashion and messing with the visual language of fashion. I just love that. So that's what I'm here for. So yeah, I would love to field questions about any of that. Like, I'm genuinely so passionate about that particular project of mine. Please let me know your questions, thoughts, comments, concerns about all of that. The other thing that I'm really passionate about is music and music recommendation. I have really elite knowledge when it comes to a lot of things, and I'm not trying to like toot my own boob when I say that, but like, I can back up my claim with statistics. Like there was this weird little app that you could use to process all of the artists on your Spotify and see what percentage of obscurity you were in, like what percentile of Spotify listeners listen to music as obscure as you did, and I was like 98%. Being in the 98th percentile of being pretentious is really crucial to understanding who I am as a person. So, you know, just buckle up. Like, I have a lot to say, I have a lot of opinions, I have a lot of things that I want to share with people, and I really love to make playlists. I love to make oddly specific playlists that are all on my Spotify, although I am no longer a member of Spotify because of their like gnarly AI associations with the military. I'm just not into that. So I'm on YouTube Music now, and I'll do a whole other video about why I prefer YouTube Music genuinely to Spotify. I genuinely like YouTube Music better in some ways, but I have like a lot of thoughts and feelings about that and would love to just like unpack that eventually. A lot of the short form content I do about music is over on my TikTok. I have a lot of ideas for incorporating music recommendation into my content creation over there. I'm thinking of doing a series called Tip of the Iceberg, where I recommend a niche artist for someone who really likes a huge artist like Chappell Roan. Anyway, so my two biggest subheadings under what I do here are music and fashion. Sprinkled in throughout are like thoughts about movies and TV and books, and I do a little bit of perfume reviewing and perfume content, so I would love to get into that more because I've heard from people that they love when I talk about perfume, and I would really like to talk about it more. I those videos don't particularly do well, and they take a lot out of me because there's like a lot of smells and yapping, so it's, you know, I'm feeling particularly incoherent today, but we're just gonna muddle through. The last thing I want to get into with you is just like some little tidbits of ideas that I have knocking around for future videos, and I just would really like to gauge interest levels. Like if something really jumps out at you and you're like, yes, please talk about that, that is something that I'll put like higher on my priority list. Because I have a lot of ideas. I mean, like, that's my problem, is that I have a lot of ideas and creative energy, but like not a lot of like physical energy to get through things fast, efficiently. It's a lot. I have like some mental health and physical health stuff that just kind of like prevents me from being a prolific YouTube person, and that's fine. I mean, you know, I'm working it out, like it's gonna be fine, but like I definitely just wish I had the energy to do a lot more, because my brain is working a million miles an hour and like my body is just not always cooperating with just how I'm feeling in a given day. Do with that what you will. There are, in no particular order, just some things that I think would be cool to talk about. Okay, hear me out, but I wanted to talk about the state of goth and alternative subculture right now. I used to be a goth. I used to be really into that scene and just sort of, you know, I was passionate about that aspect of fashion, and it really left a bad taste in my mouth, and I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that. That might be controversial and, you know, like maybe a little inflammatory, but we'll work with what we've got. I also want to do a rebuttal video to Mina Leigh's Death of Personal Style video. You know, I have no real like feelings towards her as a person. I just genuinely had a lot of thoughts and feelings about that particular video, and while I have already written a Substack about that, I do just sort of want to make a video. Like, it deserves its own space, I guess. So I was thinking about that. I want to start doing a series, whether this is on YouTube or TikTok, I'm not sure. I want to do a series that's called Stating What My Statement Pieces Are Stating. That sounds insane. I'm taking my meds, I swear to God, okay? But like, I have a lot of statement pieces, right? So sometimes it's not always clear to the layman what my statement pieces are saying, and like sometimes I have to translate. So that's, yeah. Okay, I want to talk more about hear me out purchases similarly to statement pieces. Like, these are really niche, strange little things that I took home with me, either from the thrift store or from my eBay shopping cart. Like, I've got to get a lot of stuff off my chest about being a plus size content creator. I want to start doing more lookbooks. I have ideas for lookbooks, like an updated 60s inspired lookbook. I did a 60s inspired lookbook before, but I have like done a bunch of looks since then. Styling pins, like I'm just kind of, you know, obsessed with styling pins. So I thought a lookbook of pin related videos would be really fun. I want to do a lookbook that is of the concept of my fashion sense having a sense of humor. So like a lot of my most funny outfits. My last lookbook I'm thinking of doing is like vampire time traveler fashion. Now this is like when I look like I've stepped out of a time machine and I don't know what decade I'm in, so I'm just covering all my bases. I have a lot of looks like that actually. It's kind of a mess, but that is a concept I want to hone in on soon. I've done niche 60s and 70s things that you should know about if you're interested in those decades, and I think I want to do the same kind of video for the 20s and for the 80s. I want to talk about my quirks as someone who enjoys perfume, like my specific nose profile of things I enjoy versus things I don't enjoy versus things I would like to try, you know, all of that good stuff about perfume. And last but not least, I want to talk about my approach to fashion and how I approach fashion like a logic puzzle. For some reason, I view my own fashion sense and like fashion sensibilities as very logical and pattern-based, I guess. So I just sort of wanted to talk about that. I think another creator who talks about that or like does fashion in a similar way is Mallory Hartsew. really cool 80s fashion creator who just really walks you through every single fashion decision they make, and I genuinely love that and kind of want to start doing something similar, but like explaining to you my like OCD rules about fashion that end up making my fashion sense what it is, basically. Okay, that was a lot to get through. That was a lot. Sorry, I'm having one of my bad days, kind of. Because of just like the nature of how I am, there are some days where I'm like way more lucid and coherent than others. A lot of the time I struggle to articulate what I'm trying to say. And there are some days where it's like really hard to get my point across and just like get past all of these mental roadblocks that are in my way from explaining what's going on in my head to other people. That's just the reality of it. So we're just, yeah, we are keeping it real in this house today, and I want to hear your questions, your thoughts, your comments, concerns. I really can't thank you enough for being here. I think that's awesome. There's no way for me to really convey what that means to me. Let me know what you think. Until next time, bye.